Welcome to Distant Whispers, where stories find you. This is a platform for people who love reading and writing short stories. If you love to write, please feel free to send your submission to the email address on the screen, and we'd love to bring your story to life and narrate it and give you a caption credit on screen for your story. If you like this kind of content, please be sure to like, subscribe and share. And don't forget to press the notification bell so that you get a notification every time new content is uploaded to the channel. So step in closer, lean in and listen carefully, because the next whisper you hear might just be your own. Tonight's story, though, is all about bumps in the night. His eyes flew open. A soft thud echoed through the house. Something had fallen to the floor downstairs. A book, perhaps. Maybe something heavier slipping from a shelf. He stiffened up, listening carefully. It wasn't the cat. She was right here, curled up beside him in the warmth of the bed, undisturbed. Except, she suddenly raised her head for no apparent reason, her ears twitching. Her body tensed. Not the kind of startle from a dream, but something else. Suddenly she was alert and listening. Then, after a moment, she lowered her head again, but the purring had stopped. His mind raced. There had been break-ins in the estate over the past few months, and despite the inflated cost of the newly installed security system, nothing deterred the criminals. Just 2 weeks ago, his neighbor's house was hit in broad daylight. No sign of forced entry, yet the intruders had made off with a handgun and expensive jewelry from the safe in the garage. Stranger still, the rest of the house had been left untouched, except for one thing: a wedding photo. It had been torn in half, and the half with the wife's face was missing. The husband's half had been stomped on and discarded on the floor. Who would do something like that? The whole thing had felt, wrong. Off. Disturbing, in fact, in a lot of ways. There it was again. A faint bump downstairs, like someone brushing against the dining table. His heartbeat kicked up. His eyes stayed wide and his pupils dilated, trying to pierce the darkness. He held his breath. There was nothing, just the occasional creak of the house settling. But this felt different. He cursed himself. His wife had insisted that they leave the light on downstairs, but he'd refused, telling her it was unnecessary, that they were safe. Now, lying here in the pitch black, he regretted not leaving the light on. His ears rang with the silence, and his heart was a drumbeat in his chest. Should he get up? Check? The thought rooted him to the mattress, but waiting was worse. What if someone was moving around downstairs, getting closer with every minute? He considered turning on the TV. That was his usual insomnia fix. Some mindless show, the volume low, and the 30-minute timer set. But not tonight. The idea of sound felt dangerous to him. If someone was downstairs, it might give him away. Worse, what if the light from the screen made him a target? One thing was certain. He did not want his throat slit in his sleep. He had read about it. People dying quietly, suddenly, without ever realizing they were under attack. They would wake up gasping, gurgling, unable to scream, blood soaking the sheets, sliced by something dull and jagged, like a bread knife perhaps. He lay there for what felt like 20 minutes, each second dragging. Still nothing. Had he imagined it? He reached for the gin bottle his wife always filled with water before bedtime. It was empty, of course. He'd finished it. Now he had no choice. He'd have to go down to the kitchen for more. A chill rolled over him as he slept out of bed, doing his best not to wake up his wife. His hands trembled as he reached for his slippers. The house felt different. hollow, even tense. His feet met the cold wood floor. Slowly, he made his way through the hall, every sense alert. The top of the stairs loomed. He paused. The landing was shrouded in darkness and the air thick like static. He descended one step at a time. Finally, he reached the kitchen. He hesitated by the light switch, then flicked it. Bright white light exploded across the room. He blinked, disorientated. He scanned the space. But there was nothing. No movement at all. He exhaled, grabbed a fresh bottle of water from the fridge, and on the way back toward the stairs he turned off the light. Darkness swallowed the room again. His thoughts wouldn't settle though. Had he imagined it all? As he passed the bathroom under the stairs, he suddenly felt pressure on his bladder. Of course, fear and bodily needs, always at odds. He set the bottle on the hall table and stepped into the bathroom. There was no need to shut the door. The house was silent, and his wife was asleep upstairs. As he sat down, he heard a faint rustling, something skimming the floor. He froze, listening. Whoosh. Something rushed past the door. A shadow, swift and real. The air shifted. It was colder now, as if a window had been opened to the night. His breath came in puffs and he didn't move. He didn't dare. From the corner of his eye, shadows in the dining room shifted, like they were alive, patterns dancing across the walls. The sound of leather brushing leather slithered through the air, and his mind screamed, "Move!" But he stayed frozen, locked by terror. Something was in the house. He sat there, rigid on the toilet, eyes fixed on the doorway. It couldn't be the cat. She was still asleep upstairs. And it wasn't the wind. The windows were shut. No. This was something else. The night dragged, but finally, dawn began to stretch his pale fingers across the sky and crawl into the lounge. Surely, whatever it was, would be gone. He stood up cautiously, pulling up his pajama pants. He peeked around the corner into the living room. The bookshelf, the dining chairs, the table. But he felt no relief. Something was off. Something was missing. Then he saw the bread knife. The jagged-edged bread knife that had hung on the magnetic strip above the spice rack. It was gone. His blood turned to ice. There was no sign of it. Not on the counter, not in the zinc. But he had seen it when he walked into the kitchen. Now it was gone. Wait. There, something metallic near the edge of the table. His breath caught. He stepped close and his heart was pounding. A knife. He reached for but no. It wasn't a knife. It was the cheese slicer, still damp from yesterday's lunch. Before he could react, there was a sound from upstairs. From the bedroom. A soft, unnatural, gargling noise. You've been listening to Distant Whispers. If this story unsettled you and you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and press the notification bell so you never miss the next Whisper in the Dark. And, just a reminder, if you have a story on your own, send it on. It might just be the next whisper you hear. Until then, keep listening.